My wife became infatuated with the young stud from her company. At our wedding anniversary banquet, many of my wife's work partners attended. As the event began, the heartfelt memory video, ID prepared, was replaced with intimate footage of my wife and that young stud. My wife seized a moment. Everyone at the company says we make a perfect team. Since none of these partners know you anyway, they'd be more willing to work with us if Charles appeared to be my husband. Everyone who knows me is waiting to see me lose my temper and make a scene, but instead of crying or causing a fuss, I applaud and cheer. After all, this home is already a shell of what it once was. This wife I no longer want. As I look at the high-end tailored suit Charles is wearing, he seems more like the protagonist of today's event than I, the supposed host. It seems everything was prepared long ago. I hand Charles the speech cards I was about to use, ignore the eager faces of the onlookers, and walk straight out of the banquet hall. I walked out of the banquet hall, and Natalie, my wife, didn't chase after me all the way to the parking lot. It seems my departure was exactly what she wanted. In that case, I had even less reason to object. The banquet had kept me busy since morning, and I hadn't had a proper meal yet. As soon as I left, I headed straight to Licio Pavilion, the most famous restaurant in Haicheng. It used to be my favorite spot back when we first got married. Natalie would accompany me there every week. But at some point, Natalie stopped seeing me, and all those years of affection vanished like smoke in the wind. Natalie never liked to bother with such things, thinking that organizing parties was the most troublesome task. I had started preparing 2 months ago, ensuring every detail was flawless. From the smallest details like bouquets and dishes to the major aspects like the guest list, venue, and schedule for the entire event. Back when we got married, we had a destination wedding according to Natalie's preference, while I had always longed for a ceremony where everyone could witness our love. This anniversary party was supposed to be Natalie's way of compensating me with a second wedding. The level of care I put into this event made it clear without a second thought the swap VCR was no accident. That VCR was something I spent a long time editing and making by hand, containing all the records from when Natalie and I first started dating up to our 5th wedding anniversary. We've grown from naive and innocent together to where we are now. To say it doesn't hurt would be a lie. But when disappointment piles up too much, you become numb to it. That's why I could walk away from the banquet tonight so indifferently. I finished the last bite of delicious food, digested the last bit of grievance along with it, and made my decision in my heart. I got home, took a shower, and was about to take a nap when Natalie called. "Dominic, where are you? I don't know anything about the rest of the banquet arrangements." I almost made a fool of myself. Natalie's tone was full of disdain and impatience, as if I were just some on-call servant at this banquet who could be summoned and dismissed at will. I deliberately shot back. "I went home early. What's the matter? Do you need me to come back?" Natalie, on the other end, was silent for a moment. Forget it. The banquet ended perfectly anyway, so you don't need to come." With that, she hung up the phone. Of course, I knew she wouldn't let me go. The banquet was over, and she surely wanted some quality time alone with her little toy boy. Why would she let me go and disturb them? I had a good sleep at home, having missed quite a bit of rest these past few days while busy preparing for the banquet. By the time I woke up refreshed, it was already past midnight, and Natalie had also returned home. Natalie had changed out of her daytime formal dress into a casual summer dress, her cheeks flushed, looking quite cheerful. The moment she saw me, her pleasant expression dimmed slightly. "Why aren't you answering my calls or messages?" I stretched lazily and replied nonchalantly, "I was asleep." Natalie squinted at me for a long moment before asking impatiently, "You're not sulking about what happened earlier, are you? Be reasonable. I was just doing my job. Everyone at the company knows Charles and I work seamlessly together. We're the golden couple of the firm. Our partners would definitely support us more if they thought we were an item." "Oh right, you two are the golden couple. So my wedding anniversary party has turned into your engagement celebration, has it?" I sneered, inwardly wondering if she had won too many drinks from sheer excitement today. I didn't want to engage with her and just shrugged. Natalie seemed quite dissatisfied with my attitude, her gaze lingering on me with a hint of scrutiny. She was about to say something more when the front door opened. Charles, familiar with the place, arrived outside the bedroom door, holding a bag, a deliberately bashful smile on his face. "Natalie, you forgot your clothes? I brought them over for you." "Dominic S. here. To hope I'm not interrupting anything." Natalie had also registered Charles' fingerprint on the security door, allowing him to enter the house as if it were his own. Natalie didn't find anything amiss at all, gently taking the paper bag from him. "You shouldn't have troubled yourself to deliver this. So late you could just waited for me to pick it up next time." Their eyes met with such intensity, it seemed like invisible threads were pulling them together. A wave of disgust washed over me, and I couldn't help but shiver. Natalie seemed to have found a reason to mock me, looking at me with even more self-righteousness. "I'm not the one to criticize, but can't you learn from Charles? He's younger than you, yet more sensible in every way. At today's banquet, he handled so many guests effortlessly all by himself, and you just turtle up whenever something happens. The end of today's banquet was such a mess. If it weren't for Charles, the first wouldn't have known what to do, and you just walked away and went home by yourself as if." Natalie was halfway through her sentence when I cut in. I was wrong the next second. Both Natalie and Charles were stunned. The emotional breakdown Natalie and Charles had anticipated from me never came. Instead, I remained unexpectedly calm. I didn't cry, didn't make a scene, didn't even offer a single rebuttal, just stared at Natalie with a steady, emotionless gaze. Everyone knew I loved Natalie to the bone. For her, I could say I gave up everything. Before meeting her, I was that genius painter who freely poured my talent onto the canvas. My works could move people's hearts. They were my way of conversing with the world and an outlet for my inner emotions. Yet all of this quietly changed the moment I met Natalie. Back then, Natalie was just an ordinary employee at the company, but her smile, her gaze, gave me a sense of warmth and peace I'd never felt before. For her, I was willing to give up everything, including the art world that had once made me shine. My family's opposition came like a storm, unable to comprehend why I would abandon the artistic path passed down through generations for an ordinary woman. But in my heart, Natalie was the one worth sacrificing everything for. So I resolutely broke ties with my family just to be with her. During those days, we relied on each other for survival, difficult but happy. I cared for her wholeheartedly, stayed by her side, trying to build a solid fortress of love around her, making her feel a sense of security she'd never known before. And Natalie, with my support, bravely embarked on her entrepreneurial journey. Her company grew from nothing, gradually expanding and reaching the peak of its success. I was proud of her and also felt gratified to have accompanied her through this arduous journey. However, as Natalie's career flourished, our relationship quietly began to change. She became increasingly busy, often working late into the night, with no time left for me, even on weekends. I tried to understand her hardships, giving her ample space and support. But gradually, I sensed there might be someone else in her heart. At first, Natalie would intentionally or unintentionally praise Charles's talent and promising youth in front of me. The new guy Charles at the company is really capable. We get along particularly well and will make a great team. I didn't think much of it, assuming it was just her recognition of an outstanding colleague. But as time passed, she began frequently comparing me to Charles, her words revealing admiration and infatuation for him. My heart began to sink as an ominous premonition washed over me. Finally, one day, I noticed Natalie started regularly working late with Charles, even going out together on weekends. Her smile, once reserved only for me, now blooms more frequently in Charles's presence. I protested. I made scenes only to be met with Natalie's irritation. Can't you be more understanding? It's just work. I only see Charles as a younger brother. Stop being unreasonable. I'm exhausted. Dominic, your love is too selfish. I knew her heart no longer belonged entirely to me. Facing all this, I felt unprecedented pain and confusion. I even began to question myself. Had I not done enough? Was I truly inferior to Charles? I exhausted every means to win Natalie back. But today's absurd scene at the banquet suddenly made me realize how foolish I'd been. This relationship hasn't been worth it for a long time. Natalie clearly didn't expect such a bland reaction from me. Asking again with disbelief, what did you say? I adjusted my posture, sitting up straight, speaking earnestly yet distantly. I said I was wrong. I was wrong to abandon everything for you, wrong to try reclaiming a heart that never loved me. Loving you was my mistake. Defying my family for you was wrong too, but now I choose to cut my losses. Under Natalie's disbelieving gaze, I spoke those words. Natalie, let us get divorced. Natalie's handbag fell to the ground. Charles couldn't hide his smug expression, looking almost jubilant. I was afraid this man who couldn't conceal anything would burst out laughing. He'd been waiting impatiently for this moment. Natalie frowned, but her reaction was unexpectedly. Dominic, are you drunk? Or did you just wake up stupid? Say that again. I thought she might be too excited to hear clearly, so I quickly repeated it with perfect enunciation. I said, Natalie, let us get a divorce. After speaking, I quietly waited for Natalie to agree. Natalie kept frowning at me like that, as if trying to discern whether I was serious or just acting out of spite. After several minutes, she awkwardly turned her face away, her tone unexpectedly carrying a hint of softness. I thought you were just talking nonsense out of spite. I won't hold it against you. Things like divorce shouldn't be mentioned casually, even when you're upset. It hurts people. After all these years together, we know each other too well to just divorce on a whim. I'll stay at the company tonight. You should reflect on your behavior at home. Don't let such nonsense slip out again. Natalie left without giving me a chance to respond, and Charles followed in bewilderment. This truly baffled me. These past days, they'd been carrying on right under my nose, clinging to each other like glue. Today, she even openly displayed intimate photos at the banquet. I thought she couldn't wait to divorce me and be with Charles. But on second thought, it's just as well. There's still some matters to settle, and once I draft the divorce papers tomorrow and present them to her, she'll probably agree. I pulled the covers over my head and went back to sleep, not waking until the sun was high in the sky the next day. My phone was silent. No calls, no messages. Without hesitation, I called my lawyer and had the divorce papers drawn up. I took the agreement, got up, and tidied myself, then contacted my old friend from the painting circle to meet for a meal. Those friends were the close companions I'd made during my days of wielding brushes in the art world. Each of them had witnessed my passion and dedication to painting and knew well the selfless devotion I poured before the canvas. Back then, my heart was filled with nothing but the pursuit of art. When I decided to quit the art world for Natalie and devote myself wholeheartedly to her, they called me a lovesick fool, believing it was reckless and foolish to abandon my talent and dreams for a woman. Back then, though I had some hesitation and reluctance in my heart, the power of love made me resolutely embark on this path of no return. So when I decided to pick up the brush again and return to the art world, these old friends gathered around me once more. Cheating though we don't know what, change your mind. We all support you as long as you're back, we're with you. Yes, I've thought it all through. We'll hold joint exhibitions, open a studio together, and fulfill our old dreams. That meal was thoroughly satisfying. As I got up to pay at the front counter, I unexpectedly heard a familiar voice. I turned around to see Natalie and Charles sitting at a couple S table, behaving intimately, completely wrapped up in each other. They shared a small piece of cake together, even smearing cream on each other's mouths with playful affection. That sweetness and intimacy stung my eyes. I walked over slowly. Natalie clearly hadn't expected me to be here. She startled, a flicker of panic flashing through her eyes. Dominic, what are you doing here? Charles immediately chimed in, putting on an exaggerated show of surprise. Dominic, you couldn't possibly be following us. Could you? Do you really trust Natalia? So little filing for divorce yesterday and stalking her today. I had no energy left to argue with him. I knew it was all coincidence, but what I understood even more clearly was that the bond between her and me had perhaps truly reached its end. I took out the divorce papers I'd prepared long ago and placed them quietly before her. She felt somewhat guilty and tried to explain. Forget it. If you followed me, then so be it. Just don't do it again next time. And just now I wasn't feeling well, so we were feeding each other. Don't get jealous over nothing. I ignored her explanation and simply stared at her in silence. She hastily glanced over the agreement, perhaps out of guilt, perhaps eager to escape the awkward situation, and signed her name without reading it carefully. Only after she signed did I tell her it was a divorce agreement. Have you really lost your mind to this extent, signing without even looking? Her face instantly turned pale, her eyes filled with disbelief and fury. That doesn't count. Charles seemed surprised by how smoothly the divorce papers were signed, dropping his pretense. Natalie, be careful, this might be a trick. Is he trying to swindle you out of your assets? Natalie immediately flipped through the documents several times in a panic. I scoffed coldly. No need to check out one take a single thing of yours, only what rightfully belongs to me. The love between us, like that shared slice of cake, had long been riddled with holes by time and betrayal. I haven't been back home during this time. Natalie's calls occasionally came through, but I mercilessly hung up or ignored them every time. Her voice, once the gentlest melody in my heart, had now become a clamor I couldn't bear to face. Natalie didn't call often, which gave me a rare period of peace and quiet. I am no longer troubled by those arguments and misunderstandings and can now devote myself wholeheartedly to my own world. I began to think, to reminisce, and to plan for the future. Now, there is only one thought in my mind: to wait for the cooling off period to end quickly so I can finalize the divorce with Natalie as soon as possible. So I started preparing for my comeback. I was planning the art exhibition with my friends, filled with anticipation and passion. During this time, my emotions seemed to be ignited by an invisible force, and creative inspiration surged like a spring. I immersed myself in the world of art, using my brush to depict the emotions and imagination within my heart. Each piece of work embodies my dedication and sweat, and also bears witness to my growth and transformation. After a week of secluded creative work, I felt physically and mentally exhausted, yet my heart was filled with satisfaction and joy. I decided to treat myself to a hot spring bath. At the hot spring resort, I immersed myself in tranquility and comfort, as if the whole world had paused just for me. However, just as I was lost in this serenity, I unexpectedly ran into Natalie and Charles. Dominic, I didn't want to acknowledge her, but Natalie persisted. Dominic, can't you hear me calling you? Their appearance shattered the peace in my heart. I responded somewhat impatiently. Is there anything else you need? Natalie clearly didn't anticipate my attitude and looked slightly surprised. By chance, I noticed ambiguous red marks on her neck. How dare you say that? Why haven't you come home these past few days? You didn't even answer my calls. Her tone was full of dissatisfaction and accusation, as if I were some irresponsible husband. And Charles also added fuel to the fire. That is right, Dominic. Natalie has been so worried about you these past few days, she hasn't even been able to focus on work. No time for work, but plenty of time to soak in the hot springs together. Looking at their satisfied expressions and the telltale signs of intimacy, I knew their relationship was no longer a secret, but at that moment, I felt an inexplicable mix of anger and helplessness. I responded coldly. Do you think what I did was too much? Have you ever considered how I feel? Our marriage has been dead and all, but name what is the point in dragging it out any longer? Before Natalie could speak, Charles couldn't hold back. Natalie, it seems Dominic is still upset. It's my fault. Maybe I should leave and let Dominic stay with you. Dominic, don't worry, I'll resign as soon as I get back. I won't bother you again, I'm sorry. Natalie looked at him with heartache. It's not your fault, don't leave, Charles, you're just too considerate. People take advantage of that. Dominic was completely unreasonable in this matter. I'll make him apologize to you. Dominic, will you ever stop? Do you really have to drive him away? When did you become so vicious? I looked at them as if they were fools. Apparently Natalie still thought my divorce was just an act of pettiness. You two really have short memories, don't you? Natalie, wake up, we're already divorced. Natalie's face completely fell as she started shouting, claiming that she had never agreed to the last divorce agreement, so it didn't count. What kind of nonsense is this? I never signed it. I don't acknowledge it. Listen to me, Dominic, that agreement has no legal effect. I want to recognize it. I stood there, my gaze calm and resolute, yet not a single ripple stirred within me. I said softly but firmly, since that one doesn't count, let us sign a new one. Natalie, my decision to divorce is final and unchangeable. Besides, isn't this what you wanted? Once we're divorced, you can be with your Charles openly. Her face instantly turned ashen upon hearing this, accusing me of disregarding our past and forgetting all the beautiful times we shared. So your love for me was all a lie. Now you can't wait to show your true colors. Dominic, you've really got it all figured out. As I listened to her accusations, my heart churned with mixed emotions, but mostly with relief. Taking a deep breath, I unhesitatingly laid bare her and Charles' misdeeds. I want to hold your nonsense against you. Go read the agreement. I want nothing, not even you. I indulge your every whim only to be repaid with your sweet nothings to Charles. Do you know how much effort I put into our 5th anniversary banquet? Yet you let Charles take my place. Who wronged whom first between us? Who gave up first? I spoke of those betrayals and lies, my voice calm, yet each word piercing like needles into their hearts. Instead of backing down, Charles only poured fuel on the fire. Stop twisting the truth. I used to think highly of you. Never imagined you'd kick someone when they're down. Natalie, such a wonderful woman, and you didn't cherish her. Don't worry, Natalie, you'll always have me there. Nothing to fear. His tone was full of provocation and smugness, as if declaring their relationship was unbreakable. Watching the two of them play off each other, I felt no anger, only a faint sorrow and resignation. Natalie then mocked me again, saying I was nothing without her and that I'd better think carefully. Hearing this, a cold smile curled at the corners of my lips. I don't need to prove anything to her. My worth was never defined by her or anyone else. I shook my head, slightly reminding her to check the recent trending topics. Puzzled, she took out her phone, and there on the screen was the news of my imminent return to the art world. Those fans from years ago, they hadn't forgotten me. They were still waiting for me to pick up the brush again. Reading the comments on the trending list, each one filled with expectations and support for me, my heart was enveloped by a warm current. I knew this was the perfect moment for me to start anew. Natalie's face grew increasingly grim. She probably never imagined that even without her, I could still have my own stage and shine. I looked at her, once more my eyes brimming with determination and confidence. I said, Natalie, look, even without you, I still have my career, my fans, and my own future, but you chose betrayal and lies. Charles stood nearby, his expression growing complicated. Perhaps he didn't realize that his triumphant victory was utterly insignificant. As I watched them, an inexplicable sense of satisfaction welled up in my heart. This isn't the thrill of revenge, but the joy of liberation. I turned and walked away without another word. I knew the road ahead would be mine to walk alone, but I was no longer afraid, for I had my paintbrush, my fans, and a future that belonged to me alone. As for Natalie and Charles, they would become mere fragments of my past buried deep within the recesses of memory. The day the divorce cooling off period into the sunlight was just right, as if the very air was filled with the scent of rebirth. I officially sold the old house I once shared with Natalie and prepared to move into a brand new home that belonged solely to me. Every corner of that old house carried memories of the happiness Natalie and I once shared, from the decor style to the furniture arrangement. Everything had been meticulously crafted to her preferences. From the smallest furnishings to the overall color scheme, everything reflected Natalie's tastes. It was as if I had lost myself in her shadow. The day we first moved in, I covered Natalie's eyes and didn't let go until we stepped inside the house. The house wasn't big, but it was the best we could give each other at the time. Even when we could afford more, we never moved, because the warmth of that little home was irreplaceable. Yet now, unexpectedly, these memories have become shadows. I can't shake reminders of a marriage that is already shattered. So I made the resolute decision to leave the past behind, selling this house, to trade it for a brand new beginning. The day I moved into the new house, I stood at the doorway, gazing at everything before me, feeling an inexplicable sense of unfamiliarity welling up in my heart. It wasn't just because of the change in surroundings, but more due to a profound transformation deep within me. For so many years, it seemed I had been living to please Natalie, and today I finally regained the peace and freedom that belonged to me alone. The layout of the new house was simple, yet cozy. Every piece of furniture was chosen by me. Personally, not only do they match my aesthetic, but they also represented my hopes and aspirations for the future. I strolled through every room, soaking in the fresh atmosphere of this new life, my heart brimming with contentment and joy. Just as I settled onto the balcony to relax after tidying up, Natalie posted a new photo of her snuggling with Charles while watching the sea. The caption read, "Those truly worth it will wait silently for you." Before this, Natalie had already posted numerous similar updates, nothing more than intimate photos with Charles, paired with ambiguous captions as if desperately seeking attention. Looking at this post, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. Their happiness had become so ridiculous and ironic to me. Without another thought, I blocked her, directly determined to completely let go of this past. But just as I was enjoying this peace alone, there came a knock at the door. I opened the door and was pleasantly surprised to find my artist friends had come to celebrate my housewarming. They carried gifts and blessings, their faces beaming with genuine smiles. "How did you all get here?" Amidst their boisterous laughter, they set down the gifts. "What's the matter, Dominic, not welcoming us?" We had to come show our support for Dominic's housewarming. Exactly, can't let our Dominic turn into a left-behind child. Ha 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 ha, more like an empty nester. We sat together, sharing the little moments of our lives, talking about future plans and dreams. We raised our glasses in a toast, celebrating this newfound joy. Looking at each of their faces, my heart swelled with gratitude and emotion. I knew it was they who made me feel the beauty and warmth of life, who gave me the courage and strength to start anew. Night fell, friends gradually departed, and I sat alone by the window of my new home, gazing at the scattered stars outside. I know the road ahead is still long, but I'm no longer afraid because I have my own home and dreams now. I thought the story between Natalie and me had been sealed forever in the depths of memory with the end of the divorce cooling off period. We each embarked on different life paths from then on, separated by mountains and rivers never to cross again. However, fate always seems to bring unexpected twists when least expected. On the eve of the exhibition, as I was browsing the news, as usual, a sudden headline shocked me: Meng Corporation had gone bankrupt. This news was like a stone thrown into a calm lake, stirring ripples of emotion within me. In just a few months, a company that was once thriving had come to this. I couldn't help but wonder what had happened. But then again, what does this have to do with me? I've already started my new life. It's time to let go of past grudges and grievances. On the day of the exhibition, as I was discussing creative inspirations and insights with visiting guests, a sudden commotion erupted at the entrance. Following the noise, I saw Natalie in disarray, kneeling at the center of the gallery, her eyes filled with despair and pleading. "Everyone, please listen to me. I'm Natalie. I came today to apologize to my ex-husband, the artist behind this exhibition." Her trembling voice captured the attention of everyone present. In an instant, cameras and phone lenses turned toward her, transforming this sudden drama into the focal point of the exhibition. I froze, never expecting Natalie to appear at this moment, let alone offer me an apology in such a manner. I stood quietly aside, unable to fathom what trick she had up her sleeve. "Actually, I've always known I owe you an apology." Natalie began to weep bitterly. "It was my fault. I shouldn't have betrayed you, shouldn't have been bewitched by that charlatan Charles. From the very beginning, he approached me with an ulterior motive. He wanted to steal our company's secrets and abscond with all the money. I was a fool, truly deceived by him. Not only did he steal the confidential files, but he also took all the company's money. Now I have nothing left, no way out. I can only beg for your forgiveness." Her words had barely faded when murmurs began to ripple through the crowd. "I've only just realized what's in my heart. I love you, and only you truly. I do. Please let me come back to you." I remained unmoved, almost amused. Some people, unaware of the truth, began casting accusing glances at me, thinking I was too cruel for being so indifferent to Natalie in her misfortune. I looked at them, feeling a surge of helplessness and anger. It was time to lay everything bare. "Everyone, please listen to me." I walked up to Natalie, my voice firm and resolute. Part of what Natalie said is true. She did betray me by being with Charles. However, her claim of being deceived isn't entirely accurate. In fact, Charles did approach her with ulterior motives, But that doesn't excuse her betrayal of our marriage. She chose Charles abandoning the love and promises we once shared. That was her decision. And today she came here to apologize, not because she truly realized her mistake, but because she had no way out and wanted to use public pressure to gain sympathy. I paused for a moment scanning the room to find everyone's eyes fixed on me, waiting for me to continue. More importantly, I went on, Natalie, I gave you chances countless times when I begged you to come home on our anniversary, even when I saw you being intimate with him. But you trampled on my sincerity time and time again. So today, I not only refuse to accept your apology, but I also urge everyone not to be fooled by these superficial tears. We must see the truth of the matter. The real victims here are every one of us. As soon as I finished speaking, the tide of public opinion began to turn. My God, this is too much. How could anyone treat Master Meng so horribly? Indeed, an artist's fate is always full of twists and turns. That's why their work is so extraordinary. One slap for the bitch and a full set of 18 dragon subduing palms for the homewrecker. Thanks. People began to reevaluate Natalie's behavior, and their sympathy for her gradually turned into condemnation. The police arrived just in time to restore order at the scene and took Natalie away for questioning. That farce was like a sudden storm, brief, yet violent, and finally came to an end amid a chorus of sighs. And I, at the center of the storm, unexpectedly reaped unforeseen results. My art exhibition, propelled by that turmoil, became even more sensational, drawing more attention and interest. People were not only captivated by my paintings, but also deeply moved by the intricate story behind them. Each exhibition felt like a spiritual baptism, strengthening my resolve to express myself through art. After the exhibition ended, I decided to temporarily leave this bustling city and travel with friends to other places in search of new creative inspiration. We wandered leisurely along the way, admiring the scenery and soaking in the cultural atmosphere of different regions. During those days, we laughed, cried, and debated, but every exchange enriched me and made me cherish these like-minded friends by my side even more. In the end, I settled in a mountain town. Here it's like eternal spring with clear waters and lush mountains, a veritable paradise on earth. I was deeply captivated by the natural scenery and cultural atmosphere here and decided to stay, making this place my new creative base. Here I found my own rhythm and style, with each painting infused with my love and reflections for this city. The slow and leisurely pace of life in the mountain city gave me more time to think and to reflect. Here, I met many like-minded friends who came from all corners of the world, yet gathered together because of our shared pursuit of art. We often discussed art together, shared creative insights, and even co-hosted small exhibitions, encouraging and supporting each other. Such a life has made my existence all the more rich and colorful. One day, while browsing the news, I happened to come across the report of Charles being arrested. It is said that his crimes are severe and he will likely spend the rest of his life behind bars. This news didn't bring me surprise or vengeful satisfaction, but rather plunged me into deep contemplation. Once though we walked different paths, we were still significant passers-by in each other's lives. Now he has paid the price for his actions, and I have my own new life. As for Natalie, I never heard from her again. After that solo exhibition, she gained some online popularity and reportedly started live streaming, hoping to make a comeback. But her former employees no longer trusted her, and unable to bear the blow alone, she became somewhat deranged. Later, a kind-hearted restaurant took her in as a waitress, at least ensuring she wouldn't starve. However, the lawsuit left her with substantial debt, making it nearly impossible for her to recover financially for the rest of her life. Many years have passed, and I've built a new family, finding my own happiness. Whenever I recall those past events, I am filled with profound emotion. Now I have learned to let go of past grievances and cherish the beauty before me. After having a child, I brought my wife back to our hometown. Walking down the familiar street, I suddenly saw a woman acting erratically. Her figure seemed somewhat familiar, but no matter how hard I tried to recall her name, eluded me. At that moment, I suddenly realized that everything in the past had become fleeting clouds. What truly mattered was seizing the present and cherishing those before me. I walked on with a smile, my heart brimming with gratitude and contentment. Because I know my beautiful life lies ahead, and those past experiences are merely a passing scene on the journey of my life. My happy little family will stay happy forever. The end.